Hey, welcome to Poppy's Workshop and what's on the workbench today. Um, we're post-Christmas and you might have seen a series of videos on Noah's Ark. And right now what I'm working on the workbench itself is profiling each of the pieces. So let me see if you can see this. When I profile, I'm trying to break the edges, make them nice and smooth, because when you cut with the scroll saw, the goal, of course, for most of our cuts is a perfect 90 degree. So, there's a sharp edge there. And if you look at my website, if you look at my Facebook, you'll see a photograph of my grandson, 10 months old, and the first thing he did when he was handed the cars is boom, right in the mouth. So you don't want any sharp corners. I mean, I'm feeling this edge right here, and it's uncomfortable. So what I want to do is break the edges a little bit so that they're smooth, have everything buttery smooth. So what I will be using is my rotary tool. Let me get this out here. I'll be using my rotary tool with a diamond bit. Now sometimes I will use, no spatial awareness. I'll use a barrel sander attachment to it. This is one of my smaller ones. Actually, that's my medium. Or I will bring it up to the drill press, which I will later with a mop sander, but I'll use a barrel on that or a flap or something like that. It all depends. So right now what I'm going to do is just to show you quickly how I profile, throw it up on the mop sander, and kind of go from there. Let me make sure that's open. So this is the intake for my dust collection. I actually have it to a Cyclone, to my DeWalt shop vac, but I do have a real dust handling system coming in. I hope later this week or beginning of next. So we'll go from about, I think that only does 60 or 70 cubic feet per minute, though it's a good suction. I'm going to go over, I think, almost to 600. So my goal is to really be moving air out to create a good current and get the dust and chips and whatever. So this particular piece, I just actually made a mount yesterday, actually two mounts, one for this position and then one for my soft barrel sander that's on my grinder on the same table over there. And in time you'll see that. But everything that I have is connected to a switch that when you turn on any of these devices, whether it's a foot pedal in this case, it will turn on the vacuum. So let's get started, and then after, let me do this. What we'll be doing is I'm starting to do a puzzle, and you've probably seen this before where I actually did every single piece in a different species of wood to get the colors and patterns. But I have an airbrush, a nice fine airbrush, about the size of this, that I want to see what I can do with that in terms of painting and getting some variation and everything. So this is an experimental piece that I have. And it's made out of basswood, if I am correct. So let me show you how I break the edge, and I'm going to get my light up just a little bit, and we'll go from there. I think the lighting is okay here. Okay, let's rock and roll. So you hear the air handler come on. And I've got really good air moving. But I do look forward to the more heavy-duty air moving coming in. So I'm just breaking that edge a little bit. really like this diamond tip because I can get into nice small places. You'll see I changed my angle a little bit just to get a little bit deeper profile. There we go. Okay, so that's the first step, and definitely feels a little bit better, but it's still rough, of course. Let me move this down, and I'll show you what my second step is in a moment. But one of the things for my larger toys, I'm actually going to be getting it in as a small router table. I have a router motor, and I've got some bits coming in. So for my larger pieces, I'm just going to use a router. This is a little bit smaller. I could probably get the router for most of it. Yeah, I'm not sure here, but that's why I just use this. So let me move things around a little bit so you can see the mop setup. And let's jiggle you a little bit, move you up, and I think that might be high enough, almost. A little pivot there. Okay, I think that looks pretty good there. We'll get this a little bit more out of the way. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to close this blast gate, open this blast gate. Let's get some illumination here and see if you can see. Yeah, actually lighting's not too bad. So let me get my chair out. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick mop sand of the edges and this side here. I've got the press set at about 530 RPM, so not too super fast. I don't want to take away a lot of wood. So I'm just going to break those edges just a little bit more. And then smooth that. Okay. This will have to turn off. So, oh, it didn't go on all the way. So you'll see this, I actually did the same thing. It's the same piece that I've had that I also can put on, ooh, lots of dust in there, that I can put onto my top vac of my scroll saw. Couple magnets, get it on, and that kind of cuts the whistle a little bit. I still have to do some adjustments. I just hooked it up this way yesterday. There's still a little bit that I have to work here. Let me close that blast gate, open another blast gate to get ready for what we're going to do next. All right, so let's move back down to the workbench, and down we go. I think that's enough. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm trying to remember if there was something else I wanted to tell you, but that's all right. So here, oh, need some light. This has the magnifying glass on it on a long arm. Um, I like that I can adjust the lighting levels. And actually, I used it today. I had to fix a necklace for my wife. So use that today, and nice small needle nose. So now it's nice and smooth. The edges are nice and smooth. I think I may do a little bit more there. But overall, this is now kid smooth. And I've got a whole bunch more to do, but already drilled out the eyes for Mr. Pigs and Mrs. Pig and Mr. and Mrs. Horse. So these will be the next ones that I'll be working on. Now back to this. We're going to move over to the scroll saw. I'll leave that there. And we're going to cut out another piece. I think I'm going to cut the whale out. But one of the things, actually, when I did this, I cut this out of one piece of wood. I had actually cut a frame out, and I used it for another piece that was made out of a multi-species. And what you can see here is I had already cut out some notches that went with that frame slash backer storage. And that way these first few pieces, let's see, this one, and this one, and yeah, those three have the pre-index, so the child can just say, oh, this elephant, no, it fits in this bump. It doesn't fit in that bump. It doesn't fit in that bump. So it gives them a little bit of a head start, since it's, really for a young child. Again, this particular one, what I will be doing is painting the pieces, and I'm debating whether it's going to be a thick, bright coat so that it's nice and smooth, or I'm going to let the grain show through. I still got to figure that out. I'm not going to be using rattle can. I will be using my airbrush for this and seeing what I can come up with. But right now, let's move over, and we're going to go to the scroll saw. There we go. Actually, got to get my stool up a little bit higher. Okay. So, what did I say? I think I'm going to cut the whale out. Now, I already put on a number, what is this? A number 1 Flying Dutchman Ultra Reverse. So I'm going to go pretty thin because, there's some tight corners in this. And I just want to stay on track as best as possible. So let me adjust that, make sure you can see. I will probably zoom you in a little bit. Get the air handling there. All right, so down here I do have a blast gate that I use to throttle the bottom vac, because there'll be times, not so much here, but let's say that I started at this hole here, and that would cover up the entire, what do you want to call it, the holes for the suction. So there might be enough suction that it would affect how I'm moving, and sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I can't move this. So I'll tap it down so that it throttles it up, throttles this down, so it breaks that suction. Or I can just hit it and close it all the way if I want. So I do that. Let's see where that is. Yeah, I'm going to zoom in so that you have better lighting. There we go, and a better view. And here we go. Let me get the air handling on because the scroll saw does not pull enough current to actually trigger my vacuum switch, unfortunately. So that's the one manual thing that I have to do. So here we go. A little bit of noise. And hopefully it will go down some. And what did I say? I wanted to do this little fella here. Let's see. I'm not sure what I want to do. Okay, I guess that's what I'm going to do. I'm just kind of pre-planning my cut. And I notice this number 1 blade is drifting to the right. And I am seriously considering going to a number 3. Let's see what I'm doing here. We'll come back to that. And what I might actually do is take a spiral, which is thicker, and do his mouth. I like to have those particular accents be a lot wider. The nice thing is about segmentation, you don't have to be absolutely true to the line like you do it in Intarsia or the way that I do my multi-species puzzles. But still, I always believe that practice does not make perfect, but perfect practice makes perfect. So every time I cut, my goal is to always stay true to the line. So I have a choice here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down partway here. You know, heck with it. I was going to stop here and then go back, but I think what I'm going to do is just say, yeah, this is logical. I'm going to cut this part out. And you can see I did put a drill hole in there. It's kind of a relief, say that I had issues with the blade and have a restart there, or I just needed less. Let's see why. Itchy nose. Ah. I think I need to check my blade. See, if I go too fast, you see how it tracks to the right? So this is why you go slow to watch how the blade is going to move. Here, because I have waste wood, it's not super critical. It's not a choice. So here's what I'm going to do. Rather than try and make that sharper tone, I'm going to go with this one here. Continue along. I think that's a sharp. I can't tell where I'm at right now. Continue between the sharp and the rail tail. And again, you look for ways to make your cutting easier or more efficient. So here I'm going to have some area of scrap wood if I need it. I can make nibbles if need be, if I'm not confident of a particular turn. I'll off the line a little bit here. So I'll slow down. Oh, she's drifting to the right. So when I go slow, I'll make these micro adjustments. And there you go. Let me get the air handling off. Okay. All right. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Okay, get that light up. Get you under the light. So there is the start. Oh, gotta get that out. There's the start of the whale. And the next thing I'll do is I'll work on the accents and everything when I finish up with this blade. And did I drill? Oh, I didn't drill a hole there. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to have to, let's get that in close. It's kind of hard to see because of the watermark that Blue Design uses on these. It makes it tough to see the lines at times. My eyes get thrown off. But I'm supposed to drill a hole there and, of course, make a cut for the fin, which I will definitely do. Whoops, I shouldn't lean on the scroll saw like that. So that's the second piece. And the same thing, actually, this one here, I'm going to be using these as test pieces for the router table, so that this I can, do a little bit deeper chamfer on it. I think chamfer is the right word. Roll over edge, and see how that goes. So I'm doing a lot of experimenting with this, and it's always good to experiment. That's how you learn. So there you go. You're probably going to see other videos with this as I experiment. So for example, when I bring it over to the table and I decide to router the edges and stuff, we'll see how that goes. Then when I start the painting process, we'll go with that. And then I'm probably going to build a very simple frame and backer for that. Whether I paint it or stain it or whatever, we'll make choices as we go go along. Okay, and that's it. I think that'll cover everything today. And hey, may the Lord richly bless you. Make it a great day right here at Poppy's Workshop.